Today, I will be talking to Lola Ekugo, the head of First Bank's Digital Innovation Labs. We will be talking a bit about her background and experience. She'll be telling us where she sees the future of technology in the industry going, and also the talents and skills needed for this future. Thank you so much, Lola, for joining us today in this series. So this is the first of this series where, we get technology leaders like yourself to, talk to us more about, the technology space in Nigeria, talk to us about talent, and obviously where the industry is going. Today, you are the head of First Bank Digital Labs. I know you've been in Nigeria for a couple of years, but you sort of started this role at the beginning of this year, I believe. But can you tell us about your journey so far to being where you are today?
Okay. Thank you, Tulu. I started off, many years ago. I actually studied business information systems. My core electives were in programming. So I did do a lot of Java and .NET while I was in school.
So you're a programmer?
Yes,
wow.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So then obviously my first job was as a developer, software developer, and that was about 14 years ago. And I sort of moved on in my technology career and worked in different areas like applications and just, around management. I obviously moved onto management. I worked in the UK for about 10 years, and I've sort of had a mix of working in different areas, countries as well, including Nigeria during this time in the financial services industry. I also launched 2 startups in Nigeria. So now I'm the head of the Digital Innovation Lab at First Bank.
Excellent. Okay. So you said you worked in the UK for 10 years, and then you moved to Nigeria, and you started working in Nigeria. I don't know if you saw, there was this thing online last week where some lady was asking why people, who worked in the UK and abroad moving to Nigeria when everyone is sort of trying to go back the other way. At least that's what she thought. So for you, what was it about Nigeria that attracted you back into the country?
For me, it's pretty simple. I'm originally Nigerian, and I think for many people, at some point you start to think about, sort of adding value to your country as well.
Right.
I did have a strong career in the UK, and for me, I thought it was a good time to actually look back at Nigeria and sort of see how can I obviously plug in and add value as well to the economy. So I think for me it was simple. There's a lot of things going on with Nigeria now. It's a developing economy. There are a lot of opportunities. So I thought, why not?
So that's fine. I mean, it's good to have you in Nigeria. Anyway, so now you're the head of First Bank's Digital Innovation Lab, and from my understanding, it's actually a separate entity. You guys are actually based in Yaba, right? So how is that different from First Bank's technology team, and why was it important for First Bank to have a digital innovation lab?
So I think that's a very good question. First Bank is a bank that's been around for over 124 years, with a customer base of over 12 million customers. And I think for a bank like that, with that amount of customers, it's really important that we continue to innovate and see how we can serve our customers better. So for First Bank Digital Lab, our focus is sort of a little different from the bank in a sense that, while we're all focused on the customers, we are based in Yaba,
which is Silicon Valley of Nigeria.
Valley of Nigeria, exactly. The whole idea is we should be able to work and collaborate with fintechs.
Okay.
Our core focus is saying how we can develop innovative technologies and products for the bank.
Okay.
So it's separate from every other thing. That is our core focus. See how we can also collaborate with the fintech ecosystem. Okay,
so you've been in this role for a few months now, or the best part of the year. What has been your key successes so far in this role? What have you guys been able to do and obviously bring to the market?
Okay. For me, I'm really excited about my post and what I think the value that First Bank potentially has to offer to the customers now with the addition of the digital lab. First Bank has come a long way, as I said. And some of the key things we did is obviously set up the lab earlier this year. We've been able to work on a number of products. Some are out and some are actually coming out. So that's one of the things we've done. We had our first hackathon, and the whole idea there was actually just seeing how we can connect with young minds and sort of work together to actually bring solutions that will be relevant to our customers.
So you talking about solutions relevant to your customers. I know that, in the last few years, a lot of banks have invested heavily in mobile and mobile technology. But as we have now sort of settled on mobile, what is next in the banking sector? What's the next big thing, the next big innovation? What are banks looking at now?
Okay. I think mobile will still be king. I think a lot of, I mean, that is where it's going. Everyone is moving towards mobile.
Right.
But there's some other things that I think are really critical now and actually will be in the future. Things like artificial intelligence and machine learning. A lot of companies in the financial services industry are sort of looking at how they can use their data better. Use it for a more customized customer experience.
Okay.
How they can save costs. So there's a lot of things going on there.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard that data is a new oil.
Well, some people say it, but oil is still oil.
Yes.
Go on, yeah.
So I think that technology I think will be very relevant and will continue to be so for many years to come.
Sure.
There's also, I would say that just everything around these technologies is really about serving your customer better, right? So also there's going to be technologies around financial inclusion. So I think right now
financial inclusion is trying to get more people
back
having a bank back.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so we do have, I think right now there's a huge agency banking network that's being built.
Okay.
And that the whole idea is sort of reaching those customers. So I believe there will be a lot of innovation around that area. And then there's also obviously the usuals, which are things like blockchain, which a lot of companies are sort of looking at how they can make relevant use cases on that.
Blockchain. I mean, I hear blockchain almost every day now. I hear Bitcoin almost every day. Are they the same thing? Are they different? Bitcoin is Bitcoin blockchain. Is blockchain Bitcoin? Please help us. Help our audience. Save us. What is blockchain?
Yeah. So I would say that the key terms here is cryptocurrency and blockchain.
Okay.
Bitcoin is a type of cryptocurrency. And what is cryptocurrency? That's basically digital money.
Okay.
And the blockchain is obviously the technology that sort of layers and enables the cryptocurrency, at least one of them. And the whole idea is, I mean, with cryptocurrencies, we're looking more at peer-to-peer.
Okay.
How do we edge out the middleman and sort of be able to transparently, transact in a sense.
Okay.
So the blockchain is really the technology that's layered on there to ensure that there's transparency. It's basically a public ledger system where transactions are basically stored in blocks. And you can sort of see, everyone can see, those blocks.
Okay. So if I don't understand what a ledger is, what's the public ledger?
It's like a database, really. Yes.
Okay, so it's a database everybody can see.
Can see.
Ah, right, fantastic. Less, Okay. So why is that important? What kind of use cases are we thinking of in terms of blockchain?
Okay. I mean, so I'm a bank, I mean, I represent my bank, so I wouldn't go specifically into the use cases apart from the usuals, which is obviously people are looking at payments and, with cryptocurrencies and whatnot. But I will say that one of the important things I think it could potentially be used for is, and I think some African countries are already sort of looking at that as well, is in the voting, so that it's transparent, and people can see what's happening.
Ah, right. Okay. So what I hear you saying is, for example, if blockchain could be used for our election in Nigeria and everyone could see exactly what's going on, and essentially that should help promote transparency in that system. Okay, interesting. I mean, thanks for obviously clearing that up. So I want us to move to talent, right? I mean, that's the space we play in Cousant Connect, but also it's also very relevant, especially when we're talking about technology innovation, because you can't have technology innovation without the people, right? So in terms of what you said that is relevant in the next few years for banking, so what kind of skills will be relevant also, to sort of help drive this innovation, and what kind of skills will be in demand in the next few years?
Okay. So I think a lot of skills would still remain the same.
Okay.
Like you'd always need your software engineers, front end, back end. I mean, the languages probably will change because
Yeah.
that's really dynamic, you know. So being strategic about what language you know, obviously want to learn,
Yeah.
that's also important.
Okay.
I mean, we'll still need our, you know, project managers and product managers and, you know, business analysts. But there's some things that I think we'll need more of over the coming years. Things like data scientists, for instance.
Okay.
You know, we have a lot of data. How can we drill down and really understand this data? I think that would be really important. In terms of project management practices, I think Agile is something that a lot of companies are looking at now.
Okay.
So it's not just about building products. It's about how well you can do. What is your process? How your process is. How quickly can you bring your product to market?
Okay.
So yes, I think those are some of the key things that will change over the next few years.
Over the next few years. Okay. So if I was a graduate, well, not a graduate, but I'm about to go into university, I should be looking into doing data science, ideally. What if I'm not? What if I don't know math? I'm not good at statistics, you know. What else can I be looking at, you know, in that space, you know, to be relevant to a bank in, let's say, 5-6 years down the line when I graduate?
Okay. So I mean, there's obviously softer things you could look at, like, you know, business analysis, for instance, project management. So there's obviously those other skills. But I mean, you could look at just being a business person in the bank. You know, I think what we should really think about, whatever discipline that we are planning to work to choose in future, should be, you know, we should look more into solving problems. Like, you know, if this is the industry I want to work on, you know, I want to understand it well enough that I'm able to sort of think about problems ahead and see how I can, you know, solve a problem, you know, within the industry.
Okay. So I want to go a bit back into your background. You, at some point in your career, you were a developer, and a female developer is as rare as I don't know how rare, a flying pig maybe or something. Anyway, but anyway, how is it? What is different about your background that, you know, obviously made you focus on technology as a woman? Because we don't get to see many women go into that space, or as of now, we don't still have as many women as we should have in technology.
You are correct, Tolu. I think this is something that's very dear to my heart, of course, as a woman. So, I mean, I remember, you know, very well when I started off my first job in technology, and I remember that, you know, it was about in terms of women around in that, you know, area or office, or just in general, it was about 1 to 8, 10, you know. So you'd be in a meeting and really you'd be the only one. So, but, you know, so I think it's just that, you know, you had to really focus on your value and what you were bringing to the table, you know, those days. Well, still now. But I think, you know, for me, my background, I come from a family of three ladies and a guy. And the thing is, my sisters are both engineers, one of the best out there.
Obviously.
I would say.
Obviously, yeah.
My brother is a medical doctor as well. And in my family, it wasn't about what sex you were or what sex you are. It was really about, you know, what is the best you can be. You know, and I think that, you know, women have come a long way. You know, there were times, I mean, many years ago where the question as to, you know, should a woman even go to school, you know, that was a question. You know, and that sort of changed over the years. And, you know, it then became a bias of, you know, maybe men are more better in maths and STEM, you know, science, technology, engineering, and medicine. You know, so I think we have come a long way, and I think that was a huge influence to the reason why there are not a lot of women in technology today. But I can see that narrative changing. You know, there's been a lot of technology, a lot of women-focused technology initiatives that have been set up. You know, so I'm really excited about the future in that. And yes, so those are my thoughts.
Oh, fantastic. So today, you know, you're the head of First Bank Digital Innovation Labs. Clearly, you have a successful career in technology and in this space. What would you say are the key things that have been very useful in making you as successful as you are today?
So as I said earlier, I think for me, success is a journey. So I'm still on a journey. But I think that, you know, whatever it is you're doing, first of all, you need to put in your best
Okay.
as an individual in whatever area, however little it is that you've been given. Ensure that you give it your best.
Okay.
In the technology industry, to be specific, you know, it's very dynamic. You know, you can't afford to, you know, not keep up with what's going on. So I would say that you want to ensure that you keep up with what's happening. Nigeria, from my experience as well, you know, it's important to have a network. So if you're saying that, you know, you're in this industry or you're interested in this industry, that you must build your network. So I think those are some of the things I would say that have helped me in my
Okay, so this is
journey so far.
an unplanned question, but I'm going to hit you with it. So I'm a developer. I live in Kogi State, and I want to move to Lagos. And you talked about network. How do I build my network so that I can be successful?
I think if you ask me, I think you can build your network anywhere that you are.
Okay.
I will touch on something quickly, though, which is that, you know, right now in Nigeria, it's not even just Lagos and Abuja that are hot in technology. You have places like Ogun State.
Yeah.
There are a lot of hubs being popping around for this particular, just for driving the technology drive.
Okay.
But in terms of building your network, I think wherever you are, you know, you should. So if I'm, for instance, I'm thinking I want to be a, I don't know, developer, as you said.
Okay.
You know, I'm pretty sure that in Kogi State, they're developers. That's one. I'm pretty sure that if you try and you get interested in events that are happening all around, there's so many events,
Right.
I mean, happening every day, like coding camps. I mean, there's just so much going on in the industry. So I think, you know, you really need to just look up, you know, look around and see what's happening. I mean, there's always a friend of a friend, you know, or an uncle or a cousin who sort of, you know, is relevant or can connect you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you worked in the UK for a few years. Well, you said you've sort of done projects around the world, and then, you know, you moved back to Nigeria. And I mean, what I hear sometimes is some people, you know, in the technology sector who work outside of Nigeria are still thinking, should I move back? Should I not? Is Nigeria ready for me? You know, am I going to find what I want to do? Am I going to get paid well? What is your advice for people who are sort of considering it, but not sure if they should take that leap?
So I think that my answer first is Nigeria is ready for you, whoever you are, wherever you are. I think that, you know, Nigeria is a developing economy, and with that, there would always be opportunities.
Right.
So I think that there's never been a better time than now, because a lot of sectors are picking up. You know, the technology sector especially is, you know, it's buzzing at the moment. You know, there's a lot of investments. You know, startups actually even getting a lot of funding.
Yeah.
So there's actually the space is actually growing. So I think that, you know, you should definitely look at coming back to Nigeria. But what I'll say is, you know, Nigeria is not it's not the easiest country to navigate. So what I'll say is, you know, you want to start planning ahead. You know, if you're in Nigeria, if you're abroad, you want to start coming in, seeing what's on ground, building your network and all of that, sort of finding your niche before actually making that move. So yeah.
Okay, that's great. Because I do know that we have some people that are thinking about it. But on the flip side, what about those that think that, you know, you probably find better well, you find, I would say, you find people outside of Nigeria that have higher competence than people in Nigeria, and you know, are sort of worked outside of Nigeria, you've worked in Nigeria. Has that been your sort of experience, you know, in terms of working on both sides of the fence?
I would say no.
Okay.
Completely. For me, my experience here is, you know, Nigerians are one of the most talented and intelligent people out there in the world, wherever it is you meet them.
Right.
I have worked in different countries as well, and I can confidently say that, you know, there's a lot of rich talent here in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we should look within as well and try and build that up, you know, so that would be my take on that.
Okay, fantastic. And obviously, before we sort of round up the interview, I'd like to ask this: what book would you say has been most influential, you know, in making, you know, obviously your career and helping you build, you know, successes in your career so far?
Okay. So I read a lot of different things. I keep developing myself, whatever opportunity I have, if it's a new course or whatever is required. But I think one of the books I read recently that I think was pretty good was Good Strategy, Bad Strategy by Richard Rumelt. And I think for me, in all areas, it's relevant because it's thinking more about your strategy. Like if you're abroad and you want to plug into Nigeria, how would you do it?
Sure.
If you're in Nigeria, you're looking for a job, how do you do it? You know, if you have a job, how do you change your job? You know, how would you do it?
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good book on strategy.
Okay.
You know.
I would put that on the show notes. But thank you so much for your time. It's really, really, really a pleasure to have you on here. And hopefully we can have you here again at some point after you release the few more products and we know about it. But, you know, for our audience, if they want to reach out to you, ask you any questions, how best can they reach out to you?
So I'm available on all the social media platforms, I think, or all the relevant ones. Like,
are you on Snapchat?
Not really.
Yeah. Okay.
So like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Lola Ekugo.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.